Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to day 15 of the holiday card series. I'm starting out with this stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. This is the Merry and Bright stamp set that I designed for the most recent card kit. And I love this stamp set. I specifically designed it for the elements to nestle together like this, right above that banner shape. And I just really loved the idea of having all of these elements come together in sort of a circular shape. So I'm going to use a circle die, also from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to make sure it's sized just perfectly around those elements. And then I'll go ahead and trace the die onto some watercolor paper. This is Arches cold pressed watercolor paper, and I'm just tracing it on for now because I'm going to be taping this piece down while I paint, and so I don't want to have to be taping around the round edges. So I'm using my mini MISTI tool now, and I placed that watercolor piece inside the tool and then placed the banner stamp on top, positioning it just right. And I just picked it up with the door of the MISTI and then inked up that stamp with VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and then flipped that back over to stamp onto the watercolor paper. I specifically like to use a MISTI when I am stamping onto watercolor paper for exactly what you're seeing on screen right now. Sometimes the first impression doesn't stamp well or not completely, and so when you're using a MISTI tool, you have the opportunity to go ahead and easily re-stamp that same image in the same exact position and get all of that ink in the exact spot where you need it. So I really like to use a MISTI tool, whether it's this mini MISTI or the regular size. Both are fantastic, and I like to use those when I'm stamping onto watercolor paper. While I have this tree stamp inked up, just the remainder of the ink on the stamp, I stamped that onto some masking paper. And that's because I realized that in order to fit those presents on the side of the tree, that I would need to mask off the tree a little bit and protect the tree area while I stamp those presents right up over the top. So I just cut the two sides of the tree. I didn't want to waste time cutting out all the intricate corners on the star, things like that. So I just had those sides because I knew that's all I needed. And then I went ahead and stamped the gifts. Now I wanted to have one more gift over there on the right, and I wanted it to be a little bit shorter than the way the stamp is. So I'm just inking up about the top 2/3 of the stamp, and I'll go ahead and stamp that down. And then just to make it a little bit easier when I stamp this again to make it darker, I'm going to use a little strip of Post-it tape and just tape that right over that bottom area of the present. And then I inked that up again and then stamped it once more just to make it a little bit darker. So, and to finish off that gift, I took a waterproof black pen. This is a Pilot envelope addressing pen that I bought at jetpens.com. And I just drew that line in at the very bottom. And I'll have all of my supplies linked in the description below if you want to check them out. So now I'm going to paint with some distressed inks, and I'm going to turn on to music and speed up the video. So after all of the painting was complete, I used my heat tool to speed along the drying process. I wanted this to be completely dry before I added some white gel pen on top. I'm going to be drawing on some dots. You could think of these as snowflakes or stars, either way. I sort of think they look like snowflakes. And I just wanted to break up all that big area behind the elements there. And once the white gel pen was dry, it was time to die cut this piece. So I just used a little bit of Post-it tape to hold down that die and ran that through my Big Shot machine in order to get that circle shape. And I love how the elements just fit inside that circle perfectly. So I'm going to be creating a card base for this circle card. And to do that, I've scored some Neenah Desert Storm cardstock. This is the 80-pound version. I generally like to use the heavier version, but I die cut it with that die just kind of hanging off the end there. And I had to go through 2 layers of cardstock. So that's why I wanted it to be just the thinner weight. It could handle the thicker weight, but I just thought this would be a little bit easier. So then I added some foam adhesive on the back of my watercolor piece and then pressed that down onto the card base. You could have this card be done at this point, but I decided that it needed some shimmer and sparkle, so I added some Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen, and that wasn't enough shimmer for me, so then I decided to bring in some Stickles glitter glue. I'm going to start out with the color Diamond, and I picked this particular glitter because the glitter particles in it have a very gold cast to them. The color is very gold, and I thought it would need to be that shade to go on top of the yellow that I painted onto the tree. And then I took the color Pink, and this pink color isn't really like a pink to me. It's almost more like a more antiqued rose shade, and so it went perfectly with the, let's see, what, I can't remember what Distress ink colors I used. I used Aged Mahogany and I also used Victorian Velvet, and those 2 colors together really match the pink Stickles glitter glue. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's card. I will be back on Saturday, not Friday, but Saturday, with day 16 of the Holiday Card Series. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.